Welcome to this 15th edition of the Africa Business Forum at Oxford University. For those of you who joined us for the dinner last evening, and for the sessions yesterday, I hope you had a wonderful afternoon and evening. And today we have another exciting day of sessions. And I think a lot of very useful networking and learning. We have several distinguished speakers, guests, and of course a large number of students and other friends joining us for this very important forum. I would like to begin by, of course, thanking all the different members of the Oxford Science community, in particular our students, who have put in enormous amounts of hard work to make this happen. Please join me in giving a round of applause to all of them. Oxford University is a very, very special university. We all are very privileged to be part of Oxford University. And I think it's very important to just reflect a little bit about what makes this university unique, because that in turn reflects upon the uniqueness of the Side Business School and also uniqueness of what we are trying to achieve out here with this very important forum. There are many great universities in the world, but Oxford is the best of them, or certainly in the top 2 or 3. What makes it the best? We have great academics, great scientists, a lot of research, great students, a great network. We have great people in the ecosystem. But what makes this university unique, and this is something that I feel very proud to say, is our values. The values of the university stand out. In a time when many American universities are being criticized for being perhaps excessively focused on wealth management, on being perhaps a little bit greedy in some aspects, think about what this university does. And one of the best examples I love to take often is the response of the university in the COVID pandemic. This university was one of the very few that succeeded in developing a vaccine. Now, first of all, you cannot do that just because you decide you want to do it. You need years of research. You need a lot of deep scientific work that has to be in place to be able to even attempt to create a vaccine. And by the way, Oxford University recently has also created a malaria vaccine, as you might have read. So the decision was made to actually leverage the research. So it was deep foundational research in the university. But then the amazing thing is, and I wasn't here part of the university when that happened, is how they went to market, the commercialization strategy. They partnered with AstraZeneca, as you know. But one of the conditions for that partnership was that AstraZeneca would distribute the vaccine for free in emerging markets, for at cost in emerging markets. So at cost in emerging markets. As a result, the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine was the largest used vaccine, the highest number of vaccinated patients or individuals that benefited from the vaccine. And certainly, the vaccine saved millions of people's lives in emerging markets. Now, one of the conditions of the commercialization was that it would be sold at cost. Now, think about that decision. The university chose to give up millions of pounds or dollars in royalties in return for having a positive impact on the world, in being able to save people's lives. And that trade-off, in terms of doing the right thing, is really what I think makes Oxford University special. And there were no doubts about it. when I speak to colleagues who made those decisions today, they don't have any doubts about it whatsoever. That was the right thing to do, and they did that. And that, I think, is also the reason what makes Side Business School special. There are many excellent business schools around the world, and we are amongst them, but we are different. And the difference really comes from this focus on driving positive impact. You see these three words somewhere on all the banners called impact from within. Those three words are special words. What do they signify? They signify that we attract the best and the brightest from around the world to come to us. When they come to us, they get transformed. Their values probably are already in the direction because they come to us, but they get transformed further towards doing good. When they go out, our students, our executives go out in the world and work in various companies or in social entrepreneurship organizations or in government, they fundamentally transform those organizations in turn with the leadership to help them do good for the world, for the nations and societies in which they operate. So it's really a successive cascade that we are trying to put in place inside the Side Business School. And that is the only way we can scale up and impact the world at a fast enough pace. Today, we all know that we are facing a major challenge with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. The world is moving, in some cases, in the wrong direction. And we all know that we need change to happen in a fast manner. Yes, some of the change will be driven by government necessarily, because that's what governments have to do. But a lot of the change will have to be driven by businesses, because businesses globally are major actors today in the world society around us. And that's one reason why also you have this theme of business as a force for nation building. Businesses have to be important drivers for creating economic value. That's very important. At the same time, for creating social value. At the same time, for creating environmental value. I know that businesses haven't always lived up to that promise. I know that many businesses perhaps fail to meet the expectations. But that's where change has to happen, and that's where I think we have to play a very supportive and constructive role in the process. You'll be pleased to hear that in one of the recent Financial Times evaluation of which school excels in responsible business education, we were chosen as the winners in both categories, overall and plus in responsible business education research. And that is impressive, and that is very important. The world recognizes us as one of the top schools in this area. In the Financial Times ranking of MBA programs, our MBA program was ranked number 5th in the world in terms of ESG content in the programs. And now we are in fact working to try to enlarge that content, emphasize more the importance of linking business with these important ESG goals around us. So that's really, in some sense, what makes us different, what makes us special. Now, in that context, of course, Africa is extremely important. Africa is a wonderful, great continent, very warm, hospitable, kind people, and of course, a great pool of talent. And I know that there is so much to be done out there. I come from emerging market myself. That is in the midst of a transformation. And I know fully well how there's a huge amount of diversity in emerging markets. There's so much of latent potential, and very important how there's so much of hope. There's so many young people who hope for a better future, who have all this energy and excitement and passion to make it happen. So this Africa Business Forum is, in a small way, our commitment to Africa. The Side Business School has always focused on Africa over the last several years, thanks to the work of Tammy, my predecessor Peter Tufano, and many others. And today we're very proud to say that more than 10% of our MBA students come from Africa. That's a very impressive achievement. And of the African students, more than 50%, 54% I think this year are female, which is amazing. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and we celebrated it over dinner also and during the day. And we know that it is so important to build women leadership and support women leaders in emerging markets and elsewhere. So I really hope that this forum provides us an opportunity to connect, to think about what is possible, what needs to be done, and how we can be all part of this change process that has to happen in the world. The world cannot achieve its goal. The world cannot become a better place without the success and the progress of Africa. This is completely an obvious fact, but it is also an important opportunity ahead of us. So I do hope that we all come together. And I think there are different ways in which we can make it happen. Clearly, we need to be able to get the best and the brightest from Africa to come and benefit from our programs out here. So your support in that is very useful. At the minimum, please do send the best African young talent you see around you, or African executive talent you see around you, to choose Oxford as compared to some other schools that they might consider. So that's very important support you can give us. If you're in a position where you can actually support scholarships, either partially or wholly through your corporations or foundations, please do think about that. With every single contribution, you actually help transform the life of one or more individuals. Because it's not just the person who comes to an Oxford MBA or some other degree. This person has a family and relatives and friends, and in fact transforms the life of his or her personal context, but also the professional context in which they operate. So it really is a multiplier impact of what you do and what you achieve by that. If you're working with companies and in companies with African interest, please do think about helping us, either by connecting with us on research. We need to actually do more research on African context, African stories, African successes, and also by coming to us and choosing us for executive education. We are interested in doing more with African corporations and learning from them, because there are successes in Africa that people should learn about. And our people in America are often very surprised to hear that some of the world's best examples of mobile payments comes from Africa. Okay, it's not in America. And this is very important to know, that there are success stories that serve inspiration to the rest of the world. So we need these examples. One of my dreams is to be able to start an initiative on African business at SITE, to actually have an initiative to try to understand more about African business success stories and what can we learn from them, provide a platform for engaging with African leaders and Western leaders or other South-to-South leaders with African context. I think we need that kind of collaboration, of research and other kinds of investments in cross sort of partnership activities. So please help us in making that happen. There's a lot to be done, and I'm sure that together, as the African saying goes, we'll go farther. And so we have to work together. Thank you very much for your presence. Your time is the biggest gift you can give us today, and thank you for that gift. And of course, I hope that we'll keep on working together. Our commitment to Africa will always be as strong as ever, and I certainly hope that in the future we can do more interesting projects together. Thank you very much, and enjoy the forum. Thank you.